What's going on, everybody? I am disconnected, and we got Flip and Eric, the Asian movie enthusiast. We are all here
We have a
hanging
fun
out.
show tonight.
It's gonna be a good one. I think we got a nice few handful of things to talk about here. I'm
Yep.
actually pretty stoked, and I'm sad that I couldn't do it last week.
I was pretty sad too, but I gotta tell you, I watched like 5 movies that night, so
You're
it
welcome.
was. So thank you. Um, I did miss doing it last week, um, but man, do you guys want? I don't know if you two have seen it, but you guys want to talk about Dune?
I have not seen it.
I have not seen it. But you could talk
Okay.
about it.
I mean, there's not really a spoiler because there's nothing happens at the end of that movie. It just cuts
What's
to
going on,
black.
Sardis?
Yeah,
Hey,
Dune's
Jeff.
good. Dune is really good. It it's weird watching it. I'm blown away visually. I think it looks great. It's better than any Star Wars movie ever. I'm not saying that to me. I mean that with all my heart. Star Wars sucks. And but there's something about it that feels very much like a Marvel movie to where I don't think I'll go back to it like anytime soon. I know a couple people, a couple friends that are like, dude, I rewatched it right away. And I'm like, how? Like there are parts in that movie that drag a little bit, but it was a good experience. I watched it with my wife at home. We didn't watch it in IMAX or anything, but yeah, visually it's great. The acting's great.
What's going on, Dave?
It's just I think I wrote on my letterbox review that I think I said I don't know why this is getting compared to Star Wars. This has managed to do something Star Wars has never done, and that's be a good film. So
I think the biggest complaint I've heard about it so far is that it's a 2-hour trailer for the next movie.
Dude, okay, so me and like the part where it cuts off, like right before it cuts off, is when you get really engaged to like the actual story of what's happening. And me and Taylor were like hooked on these people, and there's some twists, that like he has a vision of something, and a different outcome happens in real life, and we're like hooked on it, and then it just cuts to black, and it shows literally a split second of someone riding a worm. I think they even call it like desert style. They're like, "Oh, look, desert style," and then it just cuts, and we were like, "There's got to be an after credits scene or something." So
Right.
like, it just fades to black. So, but they greenlit part 2. So,
Today.
well, I guess Josh Brolin over the weekend slipped and said that they're filming this summer.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Other than that, I have watched a bunch of just kung fu movies, martial arts, wuxia films. I actually texted Ryan a movie. I forgot the title. I texted him. It was on the Wu-Tang Collection on YouTube, and the opening scene is so cinematic and so great. It did feel like half a film. But that thing I sent you was awesome.
Let me pull up the title. You
It's
sent me
a very
Wu-Tang
generic
Collection,
title.
Warrior's Tragedy.
A Warrior's Tragedy. The opening scene is these two warriors in snow, and they've been there for a while because they're like pretty much frozen. Your favorite trio?
What's
Damn,
going on,
dude.
Flex?
There's a lot of trios that you could like more than us, like the Cuomo's. No, but it's a really cool opening where it's these two warriors that they've been standing in the snow. They're covered in snow. One of them can't move his hand. One of them's got his hand inside the shirt of a female, so his hand's warm. And she's like, "Hey, can you move your hand?" And the guy's like, "I can't." And she's like, "Go kill him." And then when the assassin goes to kill him, the dude just grabs a sword and chops him in half. And it's super epic, super cinematic. It's fucking awesome. Rest of the movie's okay, but that opening scene was great.
It was really well done, yeah. My watch list for the last 2 weeks is really sad because most of my time was spent on vacation, and during my entire vacation, the only thing I watched while we were in Arizona was Halloween Kills. I thought it was good. It was a slasher. It's not going to be amazing. I'm not going to say it was terrible compared to other people. Other things I watched from my October watch along from my channel. I watched the original Ring. Finally,
The original.
Yeah.
Not the remake, the original Japanese.
Yeah.
Nice.
I honestly do still think the remake is better, but this one is, it was good for sure. I do think Ju-on is a lot better than The Grudge, but
yes,
I think the Ring remake is just a little better for me. Finally watched Muppets Haunted Mansion on Disney Plus. Freaking incredible! It was so well done. God, I loved it. Watched Harvey Weinstein's The Burning. Have you ever seen that one? I know he's your hero and all that.
Love me some Harvey Weinstein produced movies.
Not just produced, also written by.
Oh, that's even worse. I think I read your review. You were like, after the allegations, some of the stuff in this movie is very upsetting.
The storylines in The Burning, after knowing who wrote it, it feels bad. It feels
what else?
Bad.
A lot of the girls, after they hung out with Harvey, also got something called The Burning as well.
You know what said? Supposedly, that movie is the first time he did something to somebody. He
really
exposed himself and tried to offer somebody a massage.
I went down a Harvey Weinstein rabbit hole about 2 weeks ago. And apparently towards the end, he couldn't even get hard. He couldn't even get erect. So he was just like, let me eat you. And
all that being said,
Weinstein.
the movie is surprisingly good. I followed that up with I have a director coming on my channel next week, Lucky Cerruti, who is a indie horror director who made a movie called Freak that won all kinds of awards at a bunch of festivals last year. And main reason that he won all kinds of awards is the antagonist in the film, I guess you would call it, is a fully in-person, completely prosthetic puppet that they made that is done so well. It is creepy as hell looking. And the coolest part is if you watch some of the behind the scenes, they created it like a backpack kind of that goes on your front, and it emerges from this guy's chest, and he holds the top half, and then a lady would walk behind him and move the arms. And it's so well done and jerky when he moves. But yeah, Freak is great. And it oddly paired very well with The Burning.
Huh.
And then last night I watched Jess Franco's Bloody Moon, and my life would have been better if I didn't.
Eric, what have you been watching besides our topic tonight?
I also saw Halloween Kills. I liked the death scenes, and there were a lot of them. You know what I mean? In terms of generic slasher fare, it was enough to hold my interest, even though the script was kind of dodgy. Oh no!
That's a bad movie.
Terrifying.
What Amike is worse.
I watched Raging Fire, of course, and then I've actually been digging into some K-dramas and J-dramas again, getting on that streak. So I saw a few good ones. There's one I'm in the middle of called Be Melodramatic, which is like a romantic comedy drama with the actress from The Wailing as the lead actress in it.
Oh,
interesting.
It's really good for, even people who don't like rom-coms might like it because it's more grounded. So I'm starting to get on that streak already.
There's a new Korean show on Netflix called My Name.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's action. Is it good?
Yeah, I liked it. Extremely cliche and predictable, but it's good quality.
There's also a Chinese drama that I started. Untamed, I think. It's like a wuxia. It's like 50 episodes of wuxia, and they're gay, and it's super awesome. But they're not like outright gay, because I guess Chinese media bans homosexual stuff. So it's very much on the censorship lines, and I'm enjoying it. I started watching it as a joke because it's one of the highest rated things on Letterboxd, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I was like, "Oh shit, I'm actually like hooked on this show." Like 20 episodes in, it's cheesy.
Nice.
But good.
So not only does John give a wholehearty appreciation to the Saw decapitation of Bloody Moon, which is really well done, other than the overly plastic head that is cut off. But this viewing list from Dave, didn't you say you loved Crimson Peak, Flip?
I do like that.
It's so well done, and I cannot wait. Did you see that Vinegar Syndrome is releasing Ticks in 4K this month?
Are they really in 4K?
Yes, in 4K.
Hey, when is
Go
New York
ahead.
Ninja coming out?
That comes out, technically releases November 1st.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be
Give me,
good.
like-
And it's still getting crazy great reception.
Hey, what's the story behind that movie? It's a lost movie, right?
It was lost and then now has been finished by Vinegar Syndrome. That's why it is the first title to get VSP. It's a Vinegar Syndrome Pictures title. They got the footage and they're the ones that cobbled and put it all together.
VSP stands for Very Sexy Paris, which is my last name. So
Well, we'll let that one slide.
watch the new
John
Boris.
watched new Boris Karloff Man Behind the Monster documentary. Nice. Yeah, they were advertising that pretty heavy today.
Oh, I want to give a shout out to Haya because I signed up to rewatch Raging Fire. Good service. Some really good selection on there. I might actually keep my subscription.
It's cheap.
It is cheap as heck. And
It
some of
reminds
those
me I need to
movies.
cancel Peacock.
Hey, no, I am keeping Peacock for the Taylor Sheridan shared universe. For real, I don't know. I love Taylor Sheridan, dude. Except for his last two
Yeah.
movies, they were absolute dog shit. But
You got any
But
pickups
Yellowstone
this week?
rocks. Oh my God, do I have any pickups? My good
Yes.
friend. Ordered some more. This is mostly Shaw Brothers stuff, except for two. Ordered some Shaw Brothers stuff, and the guy included two things. I don't know what this is. Bi Chan Mu, Dance with Sword. I don't know if this is a Korean show. I think it's a Korean show. Or no, it says Chinese. I don't know. It's based on something. I don't know. Some kind of Asians with swords, which is what I like. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
a
show.
good flick. That's Korean.
This is this is the TV show apparently. It's
the TV show.
24 hours and 45 minutes worth of content
Okay.
on this. So I'm excited. It's got a really cool box set. It's like folds out like one of those Vinegar Syndrome 4Ks.
Nice.
Got this. Know nothing about it. There's not even a single review of this on Letterboxd. It is a Yakuza film. There is English subtitles on this. It's called Last Drop of Blood. Never heard of this. Eric, have you heard of this?
No.
Even like the guy I follow on Letterboxd who only reviews like Yakuza flicks, I asked him about this, and he said he barely remembers it. Early 2000s Yakuza film with a lot of John Woo inspiration. So,
All right.
might be checking that out very soon. I'm just going to quickly go through these Shaw Brothers titles because I'm going to be doing a haul video later this week. I have one more package coming. The Thundering Sword. The Magic Blade. A lot of exhilarating titles in these movies. They really know how to name their movies. Like Pursuit of Vengeance. Another great title. Death Duel. Great title. This one is. These next two are like legitimately great films. I would urge anybody to go pick these up because they're amazing films. And that's Demon of the Loot. I don't know if you could see this, but they reused the Golden Ninja costumes from the Five Elemental Ninjas. This is a great movie, and this is also a great movie. The Sword and the Flute, they're kind of like a sequel to each other. That Fiery Girl, which is actually what I call my wife. Vengeance is a Golden Blade. What label? These got put out by Celestial Visions, or they're called IVL, I believe is the label. They did Hong Kong versions and they did Thai versions. Each of them have English subtitles. All the movies have English subtitles. Portrait in the Crystal, which is still sealed. This one is extremely rare. So I got that. And then this next one is also extremely rare. And that is Usurpers of Emperor's Power and Swordmen at Large. And then the last two are English. They were put out by English companies. One is Welgo, and one is Image. But we got Heroes Shed No Tears and Bat Without Wings. And if anybody, Flip, I will love 88 Films U.S. title Cummings. Watch Gestapo's Last Orgy. I'm not into Gestapos or orgies, but
we all know that's not true.
This movie, everyone in the chat, Google Bat Without Wings, Shaw Brothers, and just look at the main villain. He's literally the same makeup as Gene Simmons from Kiss. Like, exact. Like, I'm not kidding. Ryan, if like you can you pull it up?
Yeah, I'm pulling
exactly. It up right. Like, that's the only reason why I bought this movie was because of that. I was like, "There's what? No."
Dude, why did you just pay Gene Simmons $5? He could have shown up as a villain himself.
Yeah, sure. I mean, he is a villain, but yeah, there he is. There he is. That's literally the guy from the movie. It's so funny.
I mean, that's pretty bad.
It's awesome. That's so cool. That's peak of human creativity right there. No,
Eric,
but
do you have any pickups you wanted to share?
Go ahead, Flip. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say I have I think one more package. It should be here tomorrow, and then I will have every Shaw Bros movie I've bought in the last couple weeks. And I'll be doing a big video, a big haul video, talking about a lot of them. And my goal with these pickups specifically is that I wanted to get as many movies as I can that I think it's a safe bet to say will not get a re-release. Obviously, but they're releasing genuine used films in November. Yeah, they're doing a Chinese Boxer and
Disciples of Shaolin,
Iron Flag, Legendary Weapons of China. I don't know, their release schedules got pushed back, so they're kind of all yeah. But yeah, I kind of want to just pick up stuff that I feel like will never get a release in the U.S. Does he have high heel boots on? He has an outfit. He's got a full on outfit. Because if like you look at what's getting picked up by 88 and Arrow, it's pretty safe to say anything that Dragon Dynasty had is going to be getting a Blu-ray release. So that means we still have, Kid with Golden Arm. We still have a lot of Venom mob films, and I feel like they're going to be leaning heavy towards the kung fu stuff, and a lot of the wuxia films, which is a lot of what this is, a lot of sword-based play films, and I have a couple gangster films actually that are supposed to come too. Are probably never going to get a Blu-ray release. So I picked these up, and they're all English friendly. That's my haul. Oh, I got Sabata, but it's in the living room.
Nice,
great release.
Yeah, I picked up actually too many to show. I picked up a bunch of. I had like Amazon gift certificates. So before the Criterion sale, unfortunately, but I made a big purchase of Criterion box sets on Amazon. But I basically got for free with the gift certificates, and they're basically all of the like Eclipse box sets on DVD from like Japanese classics. So here's an example of one. So it'd be like When Horror Came to Shochiku, you know what I mean, as being an example of I got like 8 of them. So I'm very excited to go through, because I was making top 10 lists of certain directors for a while, and I stopped to do other stuff, and I'm going to start that up again next year. So I'm going to watch and review more Japanese classics again next year. So I'm getting back on that train. And then in anticipation for Samurai Guys versus tomorrow, I got this release of The Thing, Blu-ray release, which I don't have that on Blu-ray. And then I got this set. It's the Fly collection.
Very nice set.
Yeah, that one has this one has the Fly, the original, Return of the Fly, Curse of the Fly, and then you got the Fly from the 80s and the Fly 2 from the 80s, all in here with a bunch of commentaries and stuff. So I'm gonna have to chew through these sets over the next day or two. Got a few Bava films because I'm starting to collect Bava films on Blu-ray. So I got the Whip in the Body. That's the Kino release. And then I got Kill Baby Kill as well.
Ooh, good one.
Which I rewatched this, and it's exceedingly beautiful. I can't believe how Bava lit his films. It's freaking ridiculous. And then finally, another one. I had to pick up Legend.
So
that's $25 right now.
So
I might.
Watch.
Is that a good movie? Should I buy it for $25?
I mean,
honestly, I do think it's worth it.
Yeah, some people might complain about the scripting, maybe some of the acting, but I think from a production value standpoint, it's my favorite fantasy film from production value standpoint.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, Eric, with the Eclipse sets, did you get Nikkatsu Noir?
Yeah.
That's such a fucking great box set. Colt is my passport. Is Rusty Knife on that one?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, God, that's such a good set. Ryan, if you don't have that, I would suggest get it.
I don't think I do. There's all kinds of people happy that you got that Fly collection, and like I just showed, Couch Odyssey says he's going to watch some Bava over Halloween as well.
Yeah, Kill Baby Kill. Man, like I said, the lighting in there, every shot in that freaking movie looks awesome. I was just like awestruck.
I think that and Bay of Blood are probably my two favorites from him.
Do you want to get into animal movies? Or no, you have pickups.
I got Onibaba from Eureka. This is supposedly better than the Criterion release, so wanted to get this one. Speaking of Criterion, got their brand new The Incredible Shrinking Man. Been waiting on this one for a while.
What is that?
We got that. Literally what it sounds like. It is a guy that gets shrunk, and the film quality of what they were able to make him look like he was walking around and everything is the best part of this entire film. Really good effects.
Okay.
Then, speaking of Shaw Brothers, I was able to get Casino Tycoon from 88 Films. Got it for real cheap from Orbit. And then another Asian film. I got Dragons Forever from 88.
Hell yeah,
this
dude.
Is their hardbox steelbook release. And then the last big boy for the week is the Zhang Yimou set. And this set, this is massive. And taking the huge lid off of this thing, look at this.
Such a good box set for like an Al Addison type director, really.
There is, I mean, this thing is so well put together.
I'm so fucking jealous that both you had that, you motherfucker.
No, mine's still in Melbourne, so.
Oh, yours is still in Melbourne.
I don't have it
Whoa.
yet. I want to
hurry up and buy it.
Raise the Red Lantern on Blu-ray. Bad.
That's gonna be beautiful.
Both Orbit and Diabolic have had it this week.
I just want to say I don't hate The Great Wall.
It was okay.
This is a dumb popcorn movie, man.
Yeah.
But he's such a good director. Did you watch his new one, Eric?
I don't think I've been able to see it, or I haven't seen it. 1 second, or what was it called?
It's like Cliff Walkers, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
Is that him? He's just so good. Like he really is like one of the goats. He is the Tom Brady of Chinese.
Nice pickups, Jeff.
Onibaba's great. I'm a big fan of that movie. And how is the Eureka set better?
Supposedly, there are features on here that the Criterion doesn't have. This is brand new 1080p full-length audio commentary by the director and star, video intro by Alex Cox, collection of 8mm footage shot on location by the lead actor, English subs, original trailer, 36-page booklet, and English translation of the original short Buddhist fable that inspired the film.
Huh.
I'm not sure, but supposedly it is better.
Well,
overall
I mean,
quality.
I'm gonna believe that because Criterion sucks. Unless they want to sponsor me.
It does say that Zhang Yimou is the one that directed Cliff Walkers.
Yes, I think that's his newest movie.
There's still more of his stuff
Yeah.
needs a release. He made some other really good movies. Not One Less is one of my favorites, and that needs a blue release. So maybe if this one sells well, maybe they release another set of some other stuff.
He has
How many movies did he do with Jet Li? I was just gonna say, how many movies did he do with Jet Li? Because maybe they could do a Zhang Yimou Jet Li little mini box.
Maybe.
He's done at least
He's got
two,
one listed as coming out in July of this year called Juji Shao.
He's still working too.
He's got one in production after that too.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, I saw The Great Wall in theaters, and was honestly I really liked the spectacle. I thought it looked great. But compared to his other stuff, it's like he got hit in the head and got forced to make a movie before Concussion was finished. And then he turns around and does Shadow, which we'll talk about later, and that is a fucking brilliant movie. So, do you guys want to get into the topic? Me and you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Eric is going to throw in opinions throughout, I'm sure.
Yes. So, do you want to go first? Do you want to do an animal movie?
Sure. I'll go first. First, I wanted to shed light on the obvious classics, because when we're sharing these five, we didn't really say like 5 favorite or 5 best or anything like that. It's just 5 to introduce a genre. And obviously, when you're talking about animal attacks, you can't really talk about this without mentioning Jaws. It is nearly a perfect film. In fact, I'd probably call it a perfect film.
Yeah.
Everything about Jaws is perfectly paced, incredible score, really well made. You can shut the hell up. Jaws is incredible. The other classic that I wanted to point out, I don't think we've talked about this one before, although I know you love this company, is Cujo. Cujo is really well made.
That is a good movie.
It is such a good movie, primarily because Dee Wallace is incredible in that movie. The other one that is sort of, I don't think I would ever truly suggest somebody watch this, but it is fun if you just have a dumb afternoon to waste. Shakma from Code Red, about this murderous baboon, is surprisingly decent.
I love that cover.
Good. And there's, let's see if I can show this. There's some really good work in the movie. Shakma it's fun. If you do like animal attacks, though, I would make that a deep cut. But the first one I am truly going to suggest is a semi-modern film that I don't know why, but it hit me really hard. And this might be cheating a little bit because only the second half is really an animal attacks movie. And that is the Adam Green movie Frozen. Some kids getting stuck on a ski lift, and then everybody goes home, and to get home, they literally launch themselves off of the ski lift, and they get attacked by wolves. And this is a harrowing film, and I love Adam Green. It's done really well. He came to town, and I got to meet him. I'm so glad. This is just one of my favorites. He is absolutely nice, super humble, acts like all of his stuff is just awful, and why are you guys wasting time? And yeah.
So for my movies, I'm doing Wuxia film, and that is a pretty broad genre. I mean, if you look at some of the earliest silent Chinese films, would be considered Wuxia films by today's terminology. So I decided to do like a couple classics, and then a modern one that is really good, and then an absolute zany one that I actually want to talk about first because I watched it last night. and that is Holy Flame of the Martial World. And I don't know if you've seen this movie or not. Eric, have you seen this movie?
Yeah.
This movie is fucking bonkers. I don't know how else to describe what is happening on screen. The special effects are terrible. There's lasers flying out of swords. There's people becoming portraits in like carpets. It's a lot of fun though. This is a lot of heart. Is it a good movie? I don't know, but you'll never see something like this movie ever. Like this is like I put this on, knowing damn well that it was insane, like just insanity. And after it was over, I was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" Because
It has one of the
like,
it has one of the
what?
cutest, most adorable villains you'll ever see.
Also, it's like an hour 23. It's like it's a breakneck speed, and everything. All this happens in this short amount of time, and you're just like, "Wait, it's fucking over!" Like it feels like a 15-minute movie just because so much craziness happens. So that's like the oddball, like the screwball pick is Holy Flame of the Martial World, and apparently that DVD is severely out of print. So if you can find it, pick it up. It's good.
Maybe I should have talked more about Shakma. The next one I'm going to talk about is from Scorpion releasing, and I believe on sale currently through the Kino sale. And that is one that people that have watched my channel for a while have probably gotten tired of me talking about. And that's because I love the movie Baxter. Baxter is such a great movie. They call this a sociopathic bull terrier, and this dog is fucking insane. It is so much fun to watch. I don't know why, but I grew up watching this movie all the time. Really odd childhood memory. Baxter is crazy and probably added to some of my fear of dogs when I was younger that I don't have anymore, thankfully. But Baxter's really good, and the best part is not only is it like a really good animal attacks movie, it serves as a really good black comedy in a lot of different scenes. It is so much fun. Another one that I'm going to go over is like a 98% black comedy compared to 2% animal attack, so it would pair well with that. But yeah, most people haven't seen Baxter, and it was hard to find for a while until this Blue came out. So if you're looking for it, it is very, very cheap during the Kino sale. I think it was 10 or 11 bucks.
Yeah, I recommend that one. That's a good flick.
My next movie is from one of my favorite directors, like top 5. It's King Hu. We're talking about twice in my list. I think King Hu is one of the most important directors in cinema history, period. And he did something that not a lot of people did during his time, was that he focused on a lot of female heroes. Almost every one of his movies has a female lead, and it's not done in a trashy way. It's done very tastefully. And especially with his contemporaries like Chang-Chi, who almost didn't have women in his films at all. Like Chang-Chi didn't have women, period, in his films almost at all. King Hu made one film for Shaw, and that is Come Drink With Me. And if you have seen any Chinese movies or any Asian movies in general, and you go back and you watch this, you're going to see a lot of the tropes that we know today spawn from this movie. So if you do watch this with 2021, knowledge, you're going to go, oh, this movie's kind of boring or it's kind of cliche.
Right.
But at the time, it was groundbreaking. I mean, this was 1967, I believe. And this was right around the time that like the One Armed Swordsman was coming out, and which is all about heroic, guys doing guy shit, kicking ass, and you have a female lead kicking ass. King Hu only directed 15 movies in his entire career, and he's a very small filmography, but almost all of them are classics. And this one is not my favorite. We're going to talk about my favorite probably in the next one, but this is a must-watch if you're getting into Wuxia films at all. And this is the 88 release. I don't know if anybody 88. This is the slipcover edition. Pick this up.
Nice.
I think Orbit still has some of this without the slipcover. It's great. It's a great film. Eric, do you like this movie?
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's been ages since I've seen it. I only saw it one time, so I got to check it out again.
When I feel like watching a King Hu movie, like he's like he is about as artsy fartsy as the genre could possibly get. Are wuxia all period pieces? I think they're all period pieces, right, Eric? I don't think there's any. It just means Chinese. It's like it's martial heroes is what it translates,
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually some kind of sword play is involved.
Yeah, I mean, there might be.
all the
I don't think I would classify any of the ones that might be dodgy, or the ones that kind of take place in modern day would be like Savior of the Soul, some of those, and some other stuff. But I don't think they would be called wuxia.
Yeah, it's a very weird genre. It's like a very weird thing to like exactly pinpoint because, like technically, you could classify the One-Armed Swordsman trilogy as it, but you don't. It's got to have some kind of fantastical element to it, like a little bit of I mean, this is like these two right here are night and day. Like, if you like, this is like you're taking. Imagine Power Rangers, but for wuxia. Like that's what this movie is. It's fucking insane. And then this is more serious in tone. This is, a little bit more dramatic, more character focused, but with some great action in it as well. And just King Hu, man. It's kind of sad that he only did 15 films, considering, like Chang Che did 98 films and all these other people did so many movies. It would have been nice to live in a time period where we got more than 15 films, but each movie feels like a important milestone.
Speaking of the prolific maestros that we were talking about earlier, Jess Franco has more than 200 directing credits.
That's twice as much as Takashi Miike, folks. Twice as much as Takashi Miike.
That's insane.
My next one of the things that always intrigued me with animals attacks movies is animals that are real but are beefed up and like semi-supernatural. And so an obvious choice for me that don't really want to say much about, primarily because of plot points, but also because it's been a long time since I've actually watched this. But I always loved Razorback from Australia. Have you seen Razorback, Flip?
No.
It is a giant wild boar that will rip a car in half, basically. It is like a 900,000 pound, not 900,000, 900 or 1,000 pound boar just charging through and tearing shit apart. It's so good. Genuine Australian film, comes from Australia. And obviously they deal with a lot of random animal crap that we don't have to here. Razorback is one of the greatest animal attacks movies of all time, like by a long shot. Not a whole lot to say about it. It is, it is fairly short if I remember. Yeah, 91 minutes, really quick paced, and it's just one of those Australian films that came out at the perfect time and actually pairs perfect with the next one I'm talking about because it's from New Zealand.
I second that recommendation.
My next pick is probably the most popular wuxia film. I feel like everyone has heard this is like in the pop culture lexicon at this point, and it's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Everyone knows this movie. Not too much new that I can say that has already been said, but revisit this. Chow Yun-fat, Michelle Yeoh, great film. I think this is my favorite Chow Yun-fat movie. And that's saying a lot because I love Chow Yun-fat. I think he's great. And honestly, it's a different tone, but the sequel on Netflix isn't that bad.
I didn't think so either. I think people were crapping on it too much.
They were over crapping on it, man. Just also produced by Bay Logan, friends of Harvey Weinstein. So look, we come full circle with that one. Evening Gents, Holy Flame is great fun. It is. Fanatical Dragon. Guys, go subscribe to Fanatical Dragon. He lost his channel and had to rebuild from the ground up. So he was at 3,000 subscribers. How's the picture quality? It looks good. I mean, it's the only version I have, but it does come with a Blu-ray. So if you just want to get it, you can get both copies right there. I really wish there was a boutique version of Crouching Tiger, like, high-end, booklet, all that stuff, because there is there is a retrospective with Ang Lee, and there's six never before seen. There's six new deleted scenes, so nothing like too crazy. But this is a film that I think in 20 years we'll probably have a big special edition of, because it's a very important film, and also Ang Lee, the wildest filmography of any director ever. Incredible Hulk, Brokeback Mountain, and Crouching Tiger, Life of Pi. They're all good. Yeah. They're all good. I like all those movies. Hard Boiled is better. Hot take. I love Hard Boiled. So, before I preface this, Hard Boiled is a classic. It's one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It's overrated. People latch on to Hard Boiled as like, oh my god, it's a good movie.
Whatever you say, bro.
Hey, I said it's one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. The Raid 2 is better, but what?
My fourth one is a New Zealand, primarily comedic effort, based around the idea of killer sheep. This is Black Sheep. Have you ever seen it?
Yes, I love this movie, dude.
Black Sheep is
love this movie.
It is so much fun. I never thought I was going to see this on Blu-ray, and then Umbrella.
I didn't know it was on Blu-ray. That's great.
This is such a great film. This is one of those ones that you get like way too many snacks and stay up late watching this and just have one of the best nights of your life. It is so much fun with essentially zombie sheep attacking just random ass people in some of the funniest comedic situations you're ever going to see in a horror film.
Wasn't that one of the Dimensions Extreme releases back in the day?
I think it might have been.
I think I had that on DVD.
One of the later ones, yeah.
I love that movie.
Yes, Black Sheep is incredible.
And by snacks, do you mean edibles?
I've personally never taken edibles, so yes.
I accidentally did. Not a good time.
I wish I could now. I would probably benefit a lot.
Dude, if I come down, do you want to get really fucked up on edibles and watch Black Sheep?
Definitely not.
Oh, yeah, you have a government job. You can't. Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, how about I get really fucked up on edibles and you babysit?
That sounds good.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure I've told this story to you guys, but I was at a music festival, and someone goes, does anybody want brownies? And I was 400 pounds, and I go, I love brownies. And I ate a fucking bunch of brownies, and they were like, dude, no, that's edibles. And I was like, oh. Anyways, I took off all my clothes at one point because I was having pain.
So it was a good night.
It was a great night.
Another King Who said this. Did you see this? He said Black Sheep shouldn't work, but it's really awesome.
It shouldn't work. Yeah, it really shouldn't, but it's fucking hilarious. My next pick is a Criterion release, back when Criterion was good. And that is but that is a serious comment. You can put that on the record. Everything else I say is a joke, but that was 100%.
I was saying boo that is from Criterion, period.
Oh, good. There you go. Dragon Inn. I think this is a very important classic film. There's an unofficial sequel, I think, called Dragon's Gate, not directed by King Who. And then there's a amazing movie called Goodbye Dragon Inn, which is
I love that comment. I can't imagine watching Rocky Horror in the theater while on acid.
I couldn't imagine watching Star Wars, but sober. But yeah, there's a really good film called Goodbye Dragon Inn. Eric, have you seen Goodbye Dragon Inn?
I think so, yeah.
It's about this theater. It's their last night open, and they're playing Dragons Inn. And it's a beautiful film. But this movie is incredible. Another King Who film, just superb. There's some humor parts in this. There's very funny parts in this movie. There's a lot of tension, and then once things kind of explode, they explode fantastically, and just beautiful action sequences, beautifully shot. Feels like it's from another world. This film does, and it's just one of my all-time favorites. Another King Hu movie that Criterion put out, which is A Touch of Zen, which I would also highly recommend. But if I had to pick between the two, I would pick Dragon Inn.
My fifth pick is I talked about Australia, then New Zealand, and this is about the Australia of the United States. And I had to go with a Florida set movie, and I'm going to go pretty modern. I think this is one of the best of this genre ever, and that is the movie Crawl. Crawl ended up incredible. It's about a family where a hurricane is coming into Florida and preparing to flood everything. And this, I believe she is in college and coming back to visit her family, and finds out that her dad is still at their house. And she goes to get him, and he had gotten, I think he hit his head or something like that, and he got stuck in their crawl space down below the house. And so she went down to get him. And as she's going to do that, you can see there are giant gators that start coming in. And it's really well done, surprisingly well done. Really good effects, decent CGI, good action, tension, genuine drama that makes you actually care about the family, which is rare in modern horror movies like this. And it super surprised me the year it came out.
My last pick, Ryan actually is going to hold it up. And that's Shadow, which is the newest film on this list. I think 2019, right, Eric? It was like a few months before the pandemic. I think it was like mid 2019. Just an incredible film, directed by, is it Jang Yimou? Is that how you pronounce his name?
I think so.
He said he wanted to make a film where the color palette was that of a Chinese water painting. And it's not black and white, but it's got this weird, I haven't seen it in a film ever up until this point. And it's like, you still have earthy tones, like of skin and stuff, but everything is like this washed out, grayish black and white. It's gorgeous. It felt like watching a Shakespeare's play, like the way it was about like two lovers, and one of them's in hiding. One person's in hiding, and there's some backstabbing going on, and just fantastic story, fantastic fight scenes, but just some really creative moments. Like they have these umbrellas that are made out of blades, and they like slide down the main street of town while there's like arrows get fired at them, and it's just beautiful. And that 4K looks incredible. So that's my final pick for Wuxia films. And then now me and Eric are going to talk about Raging Fire.
Before you get into that, Eric, what about you? What are some Wuxia films or Animal Attacks movies that you think would be in your top 5?
Or if you have one that combines the two.
There's a few Korean ones, actually, that kind of played off it. There's one called Shadowless Sword from 2005 that I liked. There's Bichunmu, the movie, that was probably based on the same source material as your television series. That one was pretty neat. And then there's one that I like called Deadful Melody from 1993. That one's got Bridget Lin and Yun Bu, and it's
I'm a big fan of Bridget Lin.
Very condensed, no nonsense. Like it's not art house. It's just like commercial, mainstream Hong Kong, balls to the wall kind of like Wuxia stuff, which I really liked. Well, I could count. Well, I guess you can't. The Chinese torture chamber story, the Cat 3 film, has one of the most hilarious spoofs of Wuxia that I've ever seen. And look out for that scene. And then, the Swordsman trilogy I like quite a bit too.
Oh, Swordsman trilogy is great.
Yeah. And then if anybody wants a TV series, they've done this a million times. The Legend of the Condor Heroes. One of my favorites was the 2003 version, which stars Zhou Xun, who's one of my favorite actresses. So that would be some of those. And then Animal Attack films. There was a Korean one called Chaw, which is about a killer boar. That one was pretty fun. There was Calamity of Snakes from Hong Kong. That was pretty neat. And I'm kind of forgetting. I would have picked Baxter, definitely. Any other animal attack film? Those are some just off the top of my head.
I do want to recommend it. If you guys have Crunchyroll, there is a show called Thunderbolt Fantasy, and it's legitimately one of my favorite shows of all time. It's a puppet-based wuxia show. So it's written and directed by Gennaro Uebuchi, who has done Psychopaths. Um, Eric, can you Google real quick what else Gennaro Uebuchi has done? Because it's escaping my head. Genur. He's done the Fate series. That's the big thing that
Oh, I like
he's
Fate
done
Zero a lot.
yeah. So he's the guy who's written and directed that. This is like his passion project, and it doesn't seem to ever make money for them, but they keep funding another season. So we're getting, I think the original plan was for Gin to write 5 seasons worth of stuff, and they just greenlit the fourth. But it's literally puppet based. It's puppet based animation. So you have these beautiful puppets, and they're doing wuxia based combat. The story is really intricate and full of twists and turns and backstabs. There's 3 movies, 3 seasons, and then if you want that same style content, the production company in Taiwan, who I guess they only do puppet shows. Uh, they have a show on Netflix called Pili. It's Pili. It's like War of the Dragon, and it's a retelling of a random season of their television show. They've done like 30 seasons of the show called Pili, and it's been going on since like the 80s. I guess puppetry is still really big in Taiwan, like to the point where they have TV shows that are just puppets, and that's how this started. Was Gennaro Uebuchi was on vacation and saw something on TV and was like, I want to do this, but with like I want to write and direct. No Love for Duel to the Death. It's a classic. Yes, all those are great as well. And Demon the Loot. Yep. Actually, Dragon, I showed off half of those in the pickup section of this video. But guys, I highly recommend Thunderbolt Fantasy, and it's not available physically with English friendly stuff on it. You can only get it on Crunchyroll with subtitles, and it's legitimately one of my favorite shows of all time. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I've seen a few Taiwanese puppetry movies. The names escape me, but the 2 or 3 that I saw were really cool. And then Gen also directed Madoka Magica,
Yes,
which if anyone
yes.
wants an introduction to magical girl anime, it's phenomenal. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, you
And,
said introduction.
well, I'm just
That's
saying, 'cause if you don't want the cutesy, you want like the darker edge, entry point, right? Madoka Magica would be a good series, and the movie part 3 is one of the craziest anime films I've ever seen.
he's a
Rebellion.
really good writer. Like he is legitimately a great writer. He wrote that, but Thunderbolt I think is his magnum opus. Thunderbolt Fantasy considered tokusatsu. It's weird because the production is from Taiwan. Gen is from Japan, so it's weird. I would consider it a tokusatsu as well. I mean, why not? I mean, we did get this amazing Go Nagai show, Starfleet. If anybody wants another great puppet-based show, this is basically a tokusatsu. This show is great, by the way. This is the official U.S. release from Discotech, also known as X Bomber. Fucking great show. If anybody wants to pick this up, this is amazing. There was a phase where I oddly went through nothing but puppet shows and puppet-based movies. So
Yeah, it's different. It's interesting.
Ice wants me to buy you this.
no. But let's talk about Raging Fire before my phone does die. It did say 10% just now, but
Oh, jeez.
what do you and I started it with 85%, so this stream is taking up battery.
Which means you only got a couple minutes.
I got about 10. Eric, what'd you think of Raging Fire?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty nicely spaced out action, good quality action, pretty basic story. But I think Nicholas Che makes a very entertaining villain He helps to like pull the movie through. And I don't know. It's just there's not a lot of fat in the movie. The only useless character was the wife character, and they don't even spend much time on her. So I was pretty much thoroughly engaged.
The first time I watched it, I was like, "This is the best Betty Chan movie," which I don't think that's true anymore. I do like Betty Chan quite a bit. I will say this is my favorite non-Ip Man Donnie Yen film. I think the second watch through, it didn't hold up as well. I feel like because it was a co-production with the mainland, it gets a little goofy with how good the good guy is and how bad the bad guy is. Like Donnie Yen's true to who he is in that movie, and it's just like a little. But the action sequences, man. One straight up out of Heat, it's great, and then the other one where it's just Nicolas Cage versus Donnie Yen is just fucking phenomenal. But I feel like that just kind of ends. That fight just kind of ended abruptly for me.
Maybe.
But overall, I think it's a great movie. I will be buying it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it.
Yeah, it's a solid movie. Ryan has left. He's not. But Ryan, you have to watch Raging Fire, man. It's a solid movie. When I first watched it, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. On the rewatch, I gave it a 3.5. So it's about a 4. You know, it's a good movie. It really is. And I think Eric's got a good point. There's no boring parts to the movie. It's like, I think Eric's right. It's perfectly paced. Like, you'll get some nice plot, character development, fight, character development, fight. I think the fight scene in the is it favelas or favelas? In like the little like huts, the cheap housing. I thought that was a really cool scene. He takes his body armor and wraps it around his arm. I thought that was very cool. I was like, hell yeah. And Donnie Yen is fucking jacked still. He's shirtless in this movie, and I was like, God damn, that's a fucking almost 60-year-old man, right? He's 60, right?
He's almost 60?
Yeah, he's getting up there.
He's in phenomenal shape, dude. He's in better shape than I'll ever be ever.
Yeah. Me too.
Have you watched Burst City from Arrow yet?
Love Burst City, dude. I have 2 copies of that movie. That director has another movie
both
called
the Arrow copies?
No, I have Discotheque put out on DVD back in. That director has another movie called Thunder Road, I think. I could be wrong. Which is equally as nuts as Burst City. And that needs to get a release. So hopefully Arrow does that. It should be this Friday. Arrow announces their January titles, right?
Yes.
Sheesh.
I'm excited. Already planning for next year. Yeah, I do too, honestly. Especially Eureka. They announced those Sammo Hung double feature in January.
Arrow this Friday, and then Monday we will get Vinegar Syndrome, and then next week we will probably also get Shout Factory.
Well, who cares about those last 2?
Everybody that's here from my channel.
That's true. Everyone, all of your weirdos is what I meant to say. But yeah, Raging Fire, highly recommend. Eric, you highly recommend?
Yeah.
Definitely go watch it on Hiya. It's worth the $1.99 a month.
Yeah, something real small.
Stupid. I was like, damn, okay. Pretty solid selection too. But they do have like they'll have like a Donnie Yen or a Jackie Chan feature, and it's maybe like one good movie from those 2, and then the rest are just garbage movies, and you're like, all right, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel here with those licenses. But they have a really good Pink movie. I forgot what the name of it is that I watched while I was at work. Do you know what I'm talking about, Eric? It's like a newer movie. Takes place in a tank. It's like Chinese Fury. It was a good movie. Really good. It's like it was on the front page when I was watching Raging Fire. Good. But yeah, what do you want to do next week, Ryan? You want to continue the 5 for 5?
I think we surprise everybody when that comes up next week. You and I will figure it out.
Okay.
And they'll see when we post the stream next week.
Okay. Sounds good. Eric, you're always more than welcome to come on.
Thank
You can
you.
even join in. Like after this is over, we could talk about what we want to do. You could bring 5 to the table.
For
5
sure.
of something.
It's always an option.
I would love to hear your 5 favorite romantic comedy movies that are Korean specific.
That would be that. I could do that.
All right, guys. Do you want to go and end it and then talk off air for a few minutes?
Sure. We'll see everybody next week. Obviously, Flip's phone's about to die, so we can't talk for 2.5 hours like usual.
Yeah, I ordered new computer parts and I put them in myself and I put one of them in wrong. So I need to take my next day off is going to be looking at my computer and see exactly what my dumbass did wrong. So
Yeah.
I have an Alienware case. It's a triangle, it's a pyramid, and I kept the case because it's cool. But the way the motherboard is positioned in there is a little weird. So I think I just plugged something into the wrong slot. It'll start up, it'll boot up, but the moment I go to StreamYard, crashes. So
That sucks.
It does suck. But yeah, let's go and end it and talk off air real quick.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for hanging out and waiting for our week off last week. Glad you all could come back this week. We'll be back here next Tuesday with another 5 for 5. Have a good week. See you then.
I love you all.